Hello, welcome to our January angel reading. So, if you haven't met me before, my name is Sandra Ray. I'm an author, healer, spiritual teacher, and I'm so pleased you're here. We have so much to go into. There's so much coming up for the year ahead. We are starting a new year. I'm going to touch a little bit on the year itself and what's coming up for 2022. And I'll also go into January for the month. I'll talk about the theme for the month, the astrological events coming up. I'll talk about the angel cards. We'll do a reading of the meaning behind the angel cards. And I'll also share with you some intuitive messages that have been coming up. So lots to get through. So we're going to go straight into it. And we'll start with the year itself. So we're entering 2022. And from numerology perspective, 2022 is a 6 year. When you add up the twos, it comes out to a 6. And 6 is all about release. It's all about the energy of release. And we are being called to release on new levels, to release fears, to release worry, to release judgment, and really to embrace love, to open up space to embrace love. Because when we're holding on to these fears, they fill up all that space that potentially love can fill. So 6, the energy of the number 6 offers us the opportunity to refocus, to lift our vibration from that lower heaviness of fear to higher vibration, higher frequencies of peace and love and beyond. So the number for the year is also, it's going to bring balance. 6 brings balance between the physical and the spiritual realms. And if you are overly focused on problems in your life, if you find that your challenge or certain situations are drawing your focus and you can't seem to get away from them, this energy of 6 will really help to bring balance. It'll bring release. And it's really up to us to be conscious of releasing, to release all to spirit, to the universe, and to let go. And I know that can be easier said than done, but with this support of the energy of 6, it will hopefully be a little bit easier to do that. And of course, leaning on all the tools, your spiritual tools, your divine angelic team of light, leaning on your divine helpers to support you in that as well, because you don't have to do it alone. So the theme that is coming up for the year, the word that was coming up that I was tuning into was quietude. So, I mean, we all know there has been so much noise over the past year, the past 2 years with the pandemic and so much else that's going on, not just the pandemic, but there's been so much in the media, so many revelations, just so much going on. Never mind what's going on in our own personal lives and our family lives. But for me, the word quietude, it means that it doesn't necessarily mean that the world will grow quiet. Although there may be an aspect of that, in truth, it will probably grow louder first, or more noisy first. But an inner quietude, an inner sanctuary, an inner stillness that we can draw on, that we can go to, that we can use it to support us, that we can have as our own inner quietude that we hold when seeming chaos reigns all about us. So hopefully that makes sense. So if we are to thrive in these times, we will have to become experts at being in that inner quietude to support us, to hold us, to ground us in the energy of love, and not to be drawn into that fear. So as we traverse the year, of course, there'll be different things that will be coming up each month that will be coming up for healing, that will be coming up as new opportunities, new frequencies, new energies. But throughout the year, there'll be that anchor of that quietude that we can return to. So for January, as I was tuning into January, the theme for January itself that was coming up was support. So knowing that you are supported, knowing that you can lean on that support, even if you don't work with the angels, even if you have never worked with your guides, you can lean on the support of the universe knowing that this universal energy is supporting you. And what does that mean? It means that you are swimming in love, in the vibrancy, the frequency of love. And if you can focus on that and know that it's there for you, then it will support you. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. And I mentioned, you don't, if you've never worked with the angels before, that you can draw on this energy. But of course, if you do work with the angels, or if you want to, it's a wonderful way to support yourself and to allow their support to carry you, because you don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to go it alone. There is that support that's available to you. And if you remember that feeling of being supported, well, you probably don't remember, but as babies, we were fully supported by our parents. We had no notion of striving, of struggle, of lack. Everything we needed was there for us. It was presented at the perfect time. And we knew inherently that we were supported. And somewhere along the line, we lost that feeling of that inherent support. And we can still live this way. We can still feel that way. We can still trust that our divine mother and father will provide for us unconditionally. I know so many of you may argue, well, that's not the case because I'm not supported. And if that's your conviction, if you fully believe that you're not supported, then that's what you will receive, because the divine loves you so deeply and dearly that they will give you what you fully believe and focus on. So you have to start reconnecting with that idea that you are supported, that you do have this loving energy surrounding you, that we don't have to go it alone, and we don't have to do anything really to receive this support. We don't have to be deserving of it. We don't have to do or fulfill or achieve anything. We are deserving right now as we are, without having to be or do anything, because we already are enough and perfect as we are. So also what I want to mention is knowing that your divine mother, your divine father, it is not something that's outside of you. It's not something that's separate from you. She is within all of us. And just as when you were a baby, you had no idea where your own mother ended and where you began. As far as you were concerned, there was no separation. She was you, you were her. And even after you were born, when you're a newborn baby, you don't know yourself to be a separate being. When you heard a noise or a sound, you didn't perceive that sound to be outside of you. All sound was perceived as being within you, as part of you. And we've forgotten what it's like to be in this innocent state. We have lost that connection. We have bought into this idea of separation. And it's time to return to that oneness, to allow the universe to hold us, to support us, to provide for us once again. And just knowing that that support, that provision, that love will come, and it's already there, but it'll come in even greater ways when you start opening up to it and reconnecting with it. I heard a story recently about a tribe in the Amazon that when they go out into the jungle, they go out with no provisions. They don't bring food with them. They don't bring supplies with them. They may bring a knife of some sort, but very limited in what they bring. And they know that everything that they need will be provided for them along their journey. Everything that they need will be there when it is needed. And they have no concept of lack. They have no concept of struggle or striving, because they are completely provided for in every way. So I think that's a beautiful story, because we've forgotten what that is like. And you may argue, if you're living in a city, in a concrete jungle, and you think, well, it's not the same as the Amazon, you can't just go out and pick fruit off a tree. And I agree, it isn't the same, but the universe is miraculous, and it provides ways to support you in ways that we would never think of. So if you're trying to figure out how that support will come, then your limited perspective isn't going to see the answer. You have to trust and you have to lean on the support of the universe. So begin to let go, begin to allow the angels to support you, begin to just even a little bit more, just surrendering. And the more you receive their help, the more you open up to it and the more you release the need for control. When we think about it, that need for control, that need to control your circumstances, your situation, that's born out of fear. It's born out of fear of lack, about fear of failure, something going wrong. And when we start knowing that, firstly, the fear is unfounded, when we're working in harmony with our angels and guides and with the universe, there was always a solution, there's always an answer, there's always an opening for us. And knowing that this need to control it's a misnomer, because in truth, there is nothing that we can control. We may have a perception or an idea that we're controlling things, but we're not. The only thing we can control is our own beingness, our own thoughts, our own emotions, and choosing what we're going to focus on. And when we choose to focus on our divine parents supporting us, the angels supporting us, when we choose to focus on love, then that's what's reflected back to us. So again, being with that energy of support, really start to explore, what does that mean for you to be supported by the universe, to be supported by your angels and guides? What does that mean, and how does that present itself to you? And exploring that, really over the month of January, that will come up more and more. So the astrological dates for the month, at the start of the month, we have on the 2nd of January, we've a super new moon in Capricorn. So I'll explain all about what this means in a minute. For some, it'll be the first of 2 new moons. For most of us, we'll experience just 1 new moon in January, but some will experience 2. On the 14th, we have Mercury going retrograde until the 3rd of February. On the 17th, we have the full moon in Cancer. On the 19th, we have the start of Aquarius season. And then on the 31st and the 1st of February, we have the new moon in Aquarius. So let's dive into everything. So starting with the super new moon in Capricorn. So as I mentioned, for some, it'll be the first new moon of 2 new moons in January. For those on Pacific time, there will be a second new moon on the 31st of January. And it's also the first of 13 new moons in 2022. So it's the perfect opportunity to work with Nadiel, who is the guardian angel of Capricorn. And Nadiel helps us with major life changes. So with the super moon, the new moon is about setting intentions, it's about the new beginnings, rebirthing. And with Nadiel and the Capricorn energy, it'll bring huge opportunity for change and for growth. And with the start of the new year, there's so many of us will be setting intentions for the year ahead. We'll be looking towards the new, we'll be setting goals, and it will really help us. This energy of the super new moon will really help us. And of course, the super new moon is when the energy of the new moon is amplified, when the moon is closer to the earth and we feel its effects even more. So we can work with Nadiel to help us to attain our heart's desires. And with the support of the energy of this new moon, it really will, it'll complement any intentions that we're setting, any goals, any desires that we're tuning into. So you may find that during the new moon phase, you may feel that you have psychic downloads coming through. You may find your ears ringing, there may be buzzing sensations. So if that is occurring for you, know that it isn't necessarily, it's something normal, and you may just be receiving those psychic downloads. So moving on from the new moon, on the 14th, we have Mercury retrograde, which will be the first of the year, and it will last until the 3rd of February. So we'll have this phase of Mercury going retrograde. And as it falls in Capricorn season, it may be that we see a breakdown in structure, a breakdown in leadership, a breakdown in rules and regulations. And we can already see a sense of that in a way. The pandemic has shown us how our governments and corporations have put in all these rules and regulations around what we can do, what we can't do. So there may be an easing of those restrictions, or you may even see a breakdown of that in some countries where people are just acting out against it and revolting against it under this Mercury retrograde energy. But also within your own life, it may be a breakdown in structures that you have set that are old, that need to crumble away. Something that you may be known has been wanting to change, but you've been resisting it. So just being aware of that, how it's occurring in your own life as well. So the 17th, we have the full moon in Cancer. And with the Cancer energy, we will have this opportunity for feminine balance. We'll have this beautiful full moon that will bring healing, it'll bring release, but also the Cancer will bring this really gentle energy of feminine balance and of inner alignment. So a lot of opportunity to heal, to balance, deeply healing wounds that we may have been holding for a long time. The Cancer energy really complements that healing and allow us to heal on new levels. So, and we may come out of the full moon feeling more aligned, feeling more whole, feeling more complete. And that will really help us to move forward in greater ways. So then on the 19th, we have the start of Aquarius season. So again, the Aquarius energy is going to bring healing, self-healing, but also healing of humanity. So it's going to bring it on a planetary level. It's something that it's needed so much right now. So Aquarius season is going to kick off that wave of healing, and also intuitive clarity is going to come through with that Aquarius energy. And you may find that you do have downloads or psychic activations, or that you find yourself tuning in a little bit easier, or just having that clarity that maybe you didn't have before around certain issues or problems, or even questions you've been asking. You may find that clarity coming through. So when we're working with the Aquarius energy, during Aquarius season, you may want to work with the angel of Aquarius, who is Cambiel. And Cambiel works with water of life to clarify and purify intuition. So if that is something that you're wanting to develop, if you want to purify your intuition and clarify it so that you can tune in more easily, Cambiel is a wonderful angel to work with during Aquarius season to help you to do that and open up intuitively. So then, as I mentioned, on the final day of the month, on the 31st, but also on the 1st of February, so the new moon will span, it'll be through different time zones. So we'll find that for some, as I mentioned, it'll be the second new moon in Aquarius. For most of us, it'll fall on the 1st of February. But just being conscious that if you are in that time zone where the specific time where you do find the new moon is twice in 1 month, that's going to really heighten that energy of the new moon. It's going to really amplify it. And even, tuning into the intentions that you set at the start of the month on the first new moon, and really just revisiting them and seeing if there's any tweaking or any clarifying that needs to be added, because you're going to have this Aquarius energy, and that may purify what your intentions are because you'll be more clear about them. Okay, so we're going to look at the angel cards for the month. And I drew these angel cards, and the first one that came up, but just before I started recording, I drew these cards, and this is the first one, which is Trust the Niggle. So I love this because it says, what is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? And remember what I was talking about with this intuitive clarity. So maybe you've had like a niggling feeling for a while. Maybe you've had a sense of there's something you need to do or something you need to stop doing. And you may find that you weren't quite able to put your finger on it. What is it? What is that thing? So the Aquarius energy would really help you to trust the niggle, to really know with clarity what that is and what it is telling you, and to be able to trust it and act if action is necessary. And then the second card that came up is align your life. So it's saying what is not aligned or needs to change. So this goes hand in hand with the first card of trust the niggle. So the niggle may be telling you that something isn't aligned, that something needs to change. And when you tune into this energy, remember we talked about the energy that January brings, and it's going to bring opportunity to align with the angels, to get support from the angels. But there may be areas of your life that you're feeling misaligned, or that you're feeling that something needs to change. And again, with the new moon at the start of the month, there may be major life changes that are coming about for you with the new moon energy and with the Capricorn energy. So really just tuning into what needs to change, what is not aligned, and following through if necessary and taking action where needed. And then the third card that came up is this card, which is Pleiades. So it says double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So again, here we have the Aquarian energy coming in, your intuitive clarity, the opportunity to bring about major life changes, the opportunity for growth, tuning into your heart's desire. And you can channel this energy of the Pleiadians. Maybe you already have that connection. Maybe you have a sense that you are connected to the Pleiadian energy. But if you haven't had that sense, maybe with this Aquarius energy, it's going to give you the opportunity to tune in and to start channeling and to start receiving messages from the Pleiadians. And they can be used to uplift yourself, but also to uplift humanity. And sometimes it's sharing those messages which will help others. But other times it can be just holding the space for that energy to come through. That will help then others to open up to that as well. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the final card that came up for the month is Unbound. So this card says releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So this is really important work where we're releasing things that we have maybe been holding on to for lifetimes, soul contracts, patterns, and past lives. So these may be things that we have been tied to or bound by, and we are becoming unbound. We're letting the ties unravel, and we're opening up to being in a space of freedom, being in a space of newness, being in that space of owning our power and knowing what that feels like. And when we feel trapped or bound, particularly if we don't know what that is, what's holding us, the opportunity to release is really going to free us up on new levels. And I think for many, this will be on a personal level, but more so on a planetary level. I think that there's going to be soul contracts, like group oversoul contracts, that are going to be released. And yeah, I think this is going to have a profound effect where we'll see it not just happening on a personal level, but also on a collective. So that's the angel cards for the month ahead. A lot of work, a lot of releasing. And again, if you remember that the theme for the month is support, really leaning on that support of your angels, your guides, the universe, to help you to traverse this realignment of your life, this release that's coming up, the energy that January is going to bring. Leaning on your angels, your guides, to help you to hold your own light and to be in that space. So hopefully this has helped, and thank you once again for being here. I hope you have a wonderful new year and a wonderful year ahead. And if you are drawn to working with the angels on a deeper level, we will have a beautiful meditation bundle where you can release blocks that are holding you back from receiving money, release relationship blocks so that you can open up to new relationships, another meditation to release health blocks so that you can open up to vibrant health and well-being. If this is something that resonates with you, the meditation bundle with those 3 meditations focusing on those specific areas, so relationships, money, and health, are going to be available for a limited period. And there will be a special offer that you can download the meditations at that special rate. And if it's something that you are drawn to, it's the perfect time to start releasing those ties, as we said, to become unbound and to free your energy so that you can step into the newest and highest version of yourself. Also, within our members group, Fiercely Spiritual Family, we are going to be changing things a little bit. And I've been talking to the members about how the group, the membership is evolving. And we were talking about having the opportunity for members to become certified angel intuitives. And that's something that a lot of people really resonated with and were putting their hands up to say yes for. So if that's something that interests you, if you would like to become a certified angel intuitive, let me know, because it's something that we'll proceed with if there is enough interest, if there's people who are wanting that, and I'd love to hear from you. So if you'd like to become a certified angel intuitive, leave a comment, leave a message below, or if you are on my email list, you can reply to the email that you received this podcast in, and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you very soon for another episode of the Fiercely Spiritual Podcast.